Good morning, everyone. In this video, we're going to look at paragraph 8.5, and we're going to talk about a new type of function, which is called a power function. So, what is a power function? It's basically a new type of function. So far, you've had several. You've had the linear ones. You had quadratic functions. You've seen the exponential ones. And we're going to add the power functions to this list. And you'll see that they're somewhat similar to the exponential functions, but they're not the same. All of these functions also have like the standard form. So remember, y equals ax plus b, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, n equals b times g to the power of t. And what are we going to do in this form? Basically adding this one. Our function y equals a, let's use the same letters as they do in your textbook, x, and hopefully some of you already think like, okay, what's the difference between those two, because they look a lot like each other. Hopefully it becomes clear when I'm giving you some sort of an example. Usually the numbers you fill in over here are, for example, 2x plus 1. In this case you often see x squared plus 3x plus 2. What you've seen over here is that when, for example, you have a starting point in a city, let's say 2,200 people, and every year the amount increases with 1%, then you have times 1.01 to the power of t. So usually you fill in the b and the g. In this case, you're filling in the a and the n, which gives you something like y equals 2x to the power of 3. And when you have that, this is something that we're going to think about. And we're going to make a sketch of it. And not just this one, we're going to look at several ones. Because if we look at several ones of these, then you get the idea, hopefully. So this little scheme that I'm making over here is pretty important to understand. We're going to look at two things. We're going to look at the a and the n. So n even and n could be odd. Besides that, we're also going to think about the a. Let's start off with a really easy example that you already know. For example, if you have y equals 3x squared, you all hopefully know that this will give you a parabola. This means that the a is positive, the n is an even number. So for the a, we're going to distinguish between two possibilities, that a is positive or negative. Why are we disregarding a equals 0? Well, if a is 0, then y equals 0, and it's not an interesting formula at all. So that's why it's not included over here. So for x squared, this is a parabola. But what if you have, for example, 3x to the power of 4? The reason that this became a parabola was basically because all the negative numbers became positive due to the square. If you fill in a negative number over here, for example, minus 2, if minus 2 to the power of 4 is minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2. So you have an even amount of minuses, which means that it becomes positive as well. So if n is even and a is positive, you will always get a parabola. And this is a cup or a cap, maybe you remember. This would sometimes when you would have minus 3x squared, this would have been a cap. And the same thing goes for the other one. So what happens if n is odd? Let's use y equals 2x to the power of 3 and let's make a small table. X and y, filling in minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1 and 2, just to get a basic idea. If we fill in 0 to the power of 3, 0 times 0 times 0, 0, 2 times 0 is still 0. If we fill in 1, it's 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1, 2 times 1 is 2. What if we fill in minus 1? Minus 1 times minus 1 is just 1, times minus 1 is negative, so minus 2. For the positive 2, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Minus 2 times minus 2 is 4, times minus 2 is minus 8, times 2 is minus 16. So this is like 1/2 of a parabola, but the other half is it's like it's fallen down. And basically if you would reverse it, then this part is normal and this part isn't. So let's give you an example of each part of the scheme. So this could be y equals 3x to the power of 4, y equals minus 3x to the power of 2, y equals 2x to the power of 3. This could be y equals minus 4x to the power of 5. Okay, so hopefully this is somewhat clear. So these things over here are all called power functions. A quadratic function is basically an exception to that, because you'll see quadratic functions a lot, and you see them that often that they basically have their own word. And you could, for example, if we look at things to the power of 3, we could call them cubed functions, of cubic functions, but we usually don't do that either. So for this, there's one more thing to them, because solving them is sometimes also interesting, but that's something for part 2 of this video. Good luck with this, and if you have any questions, just let me know.